them as one of the 1960s greatest singing trio. Now they're here to talk policy. Republican Congressman from Illinois, member of the Foreign Affairs Committee, Representative Adam Kinzinger.
Who had nice things to say about you, Joe. Say it again.
I said Congress was functional until you left, and then we just started fighting and spending money. I know. Crazy.
I know.
On the record.
When I left, they had a $155 billion surplus, and as Jeffrey Sachs said, I took it all with me. We also have the Director of the Earth Institute at Columbia University, Dr. Jeffrey Sachs, and writer for the National Review, Charles C.W. Cook.
What an
In the magazine's
name.
cover story, Charles shares his observations about what's going on in the suburbs of Paris. First, a lot of news, obviously, coming out of Europe. Jeffrey, let's start with you. I said last week, it appears the sick man of Europe now is Europe. How bad's the situation?
Interesting Wall Street Journal headline, double blow to Germany's leadership. Two things happened this past week of interest. One was that the European Central Bank finally said enough of the conservative monetary policies that Germany has been pushing. We're going to expand to basically do what the Fed has done in the last 3 years, which helped get the U.S. recovery going. I think that's good news. Then yesterday, a big blowout election in Greece. The left won very strong on a platform of saying, we're tired of repaying this massive debt. We can't do it. We need new terms. And this is setting up a potentially
caused the EU to collapse so much that all of Mika's holdings in the south of France have just, you know.
That's it.
I mean, the American dollar is going to spend a lot this summer, isn't it?
The joke is getting old.
Let me say, though, we're at the beginning of the year for predictions. I think actually Europe is on its way back.
Do you really?
Because I think the European Central Bank has done the right thing, and I believe, now this is the big gamble, with this new Greek government, I think Germany may be forced to confront realities of a different approach to management. If they do, if they give Greece a way out, suddenly the situation is going to look a little bit better. We have a recovery in the United States going, and Europe could do the same.
Congressman, you agree?
Wow.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, I think the big question on this is if Germany and if the EU kind of gives Greece an opportunity to stay in and gives them a way out, even with kind of this new left-wing philosophy on it, what's it going to do to other countries in that situation?
I mean, are they going to be willing to do that?
I don't know. That'll be the interesting part. I mean, Jeffrey's probably a bigger expert on that than I am. But if they do, again, with Greece, you're going to have other countries that find themselves in fiscal austerity basically demanding the same thing. And you might see the same internal political change within that country.
Spain, Portugal.
Yeah, basically, compromising is the way to avoid political upheaval, because it will go this way in frustrated places. The unemployment rate in Greece is 25%. It's Great Depression level. So they need a different approach. And what I have written about in recent days is that Germany got relief after World War II. Not that they, quote, deserved it, but they needed it. They needed a fresh start. It's time for Germany to look to Greece and say, okay, whether you deserve it or not, you need it.
Well, the problem is you have the chronically unemployed that, you know, within chronically unemployed, you get, you know, gangs and problems that arise and social issues, frustration.
From economic chaos to social chaos, you've just come back from the Paris suburbs.
Yeah.
What did you find?
Well, it's much more complicated than it's been presented as being. The suburbs, the supposed no-go areas, are diverse. Some of them are rich, some of them are poor, some of them are middle class. The most harrowing thing I saw was the way Jews seem to be treated in even middle-class areas. In a place called Sarcelles, it wasn't so much that the police and the authorities weren't there, it was that they were. We went to a synagogue. There are 6 soldiers outside, 3 on the door, 3 milling around inside, and then another 10 camping out upstairs. They're being relieved every 2 hours by another set of soldiers. Now, when I say soldiers, I mean soldiers. I'm talking automatic weapons, bulletproof vests, full combat fatigues.
So synagogues in Paris are in lockdown?
Well, they are after Charlie Hebdo. Now, this is not necessarily how it always is, but I spoke to the rabbi, and he was saying to me, it's normal for Jews to be targeted even in this area. On the subway, if you wear a yarmulke, if you're in a more orthodox dress, you will be beaten up. And the soldiers are there to defend the 2 synagogues. They're there to defend the school, the Anne Frank school, and the private school. So it's not always as if the police have backed off. It's that there are problems for them to deal with.
And the French the French government understands there can't be another attack. in France.
That is correct.
Especially against Jewish targets.
And you also looked into this issue of the no-go zones. What did you find?
Well, it depends what you mean by no-go zone, I think. There are not areas that the state has completely lost control of that are being run by some shadow government under Sharia. What there are, however, is majority Muslim areas that are extremely poor, that look and feel like an American ghetto, and in which the police do the opposite of what you might call broken windows policing. They don't go in on minor infractions. They don't want to start a fight. Now, they do go in, but they're not going to be arresting people on the street for wearing a hijab or a niqab, which in France is illegal.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Of course, this no-go zone controversy. Fox said there were, and then apologized. CNN also said there were. I don't think they've apologized yet for saying it repeatedly.
I think what we have to remember is one more thing, which is that there's massive war underway all through the Middle East, and this is a lot of blowback. And until we solve those problems, there's so much violence. These young terrorists that committed this heinous crime had been in these training camps in Yemen. We have stoked war ourselves. We know in Syria, 200,000 people dead, and now, fortunately, the U.S. government seems to be saying maybe we've got the wrong policy. Maybe this endless conflict approach isn't working.
What's the right policy?
Well, the right policy, I would say, was not to have tried to overthrow a regime.
What's the right policy now?
The right policy is for us to put into responsibility the local countries, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and others, and say, clean this up, rather than us being in the middle of it, and France being in the middle of it, because then there's blowback.
America plays a unique role. It's us or it's nobody. You can't have Turkey lead an entire coalition. I think Bashar al-Assad has to be overthrown. I think if you can maintain the state, because right now Assad is the incubator of ISIS. His brutality to the people of Syria are leading to them this upheaval, and in some cases joining ISIS, because success begets recruitment. You see ISIS and you say, holy cow, they're successful, I'm going to join them. So I think that's going to be, at the end of the day, is going to have to be the policy we undertake.
And I hear that I know you disagree, Jeffrey. You hear that from so many other countries, too, who are focused on Assad leaving. Well, Jeffrey, stay with us, because we have to go to break. Okay.
All right, Congressman Adam Kinzinger, thank you very much.
It's great being here.
Thanks, great seeing you.
Thank you as well. Great piece. Ahead in a very packed 8:30 half hour, did the Screen Actors Guild award